Welcome into another week of PTN Extra. Happy to be here with you and happy to have you back. We got a lot of fun things to talk about today. The men's basketball team getting a win over Texas A&M. So is there a chance for a postseason left? A new 7-5 format for the college football playoffs is set, voted on Tuesday, and we're going to have some fun talking about that as well. And Arkansas pitcher Robyn Herron going to join us in studio. So let's get it started. Welcoming in Courtney Mims and Mike Irwin. And guys, as I mentioned, Arkansas getting that win over Texas A&M yesterday, 78-71. This team finally looks like it's figured it out, and it's almost like addition by subtraction, guys?
Yeah, I think we still need more data to feel confident in saying, hey, this team has figured it out. I don't want to say that just yet, but you like where this is going, because if you can string a couple of wins together, you get this win over Texas A&M, which was a quad one road win for the Hogs. Then you go and you beat Missouri. Then you go and you beat Vanderbilt, and suddenly you've won 3 games in a row, and that feels really good for this team that just really was in the dumps, a couple of weeks ago. I mean, even a week before this game, they were. So I feel like this is good momentum, but hey, hold the horses. And I don't want to make any sudden movements on will this help?
And it just might be a little too late at this point. Mike?
What I think is interesting is how injuries have improved this team. Clearly, they played better since certain players have gotten injured. Trevin Brazile went out. Arkansas just had 1 SEC win. 8 games later, they got 4. Jalen Graham went out. This team could have easily won back-to-back road games. They did deserve to beat Mississippi State and Starkville. Almost pulled it off. They followed that by winning at A&M by 7. Arkansas has had one big forward, Mekhi Mitchell, with these injuries. And look what he did. 43 points and 22 rebounds in 2 games. He stepped up. And then Keon Minifield was out against the Aggies. True freshman Layden Blocker comes on to hold Aggie guard Wade Taylor to 11 points, where he'd been averaging 19 and scored 41 in the first game. So there have been hints about chemistry issues. And Tremont Mark even said before the game, yeah, it's true. Well, it looks like to me almost by accident or injuries, Musselman got the best guys on the floor, and I guess sometimes it happens that way.
So here's the games that they have left on the schedule. They host Missouri on Saturday. By the way, the Tigers still don't have an SEC win. Vanderbilt, another team below Arkansas in the standings. Kentucky, LSU, and Alabama. And when you look at the standings that I just alluded to right now, Arkansas is in those bottom 7. Let's see if we can pop that up for you guys. Arkansas in the bottom 7 over there. Again, Vanderbilt, Missouri below them. This is what the rest of the league looks like. But you've got 5 games right there that I think you can win 3 of them at least. Is this, again, something they head into this postseason and SEC tournament, and just like that, you win the tournament, you get that automatic bid, and we're in a place that we didn't think we would be at a few weeks ago.
I mean, I think when you look at it, and I know a lot of people have ran the scenarios on social media and things like that, when you look at it right now, for me, it's more of like, can they make it to the NIT versus the tournament? Because for me, when you look at it, even if they win out, let's say, and they maybe drop a game or even 2 in the SEC tournament, I don't think that puts them high enough in those net rankings for them to be considered for an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. However, I do think you string a couple wins together, you look good in the SEC tournament, you make a case for the NIT. And for this team, I think that would be really, really good for them to finish there, maybe make a run in the NIT. Hey, maybe even if you win it all, that would be a really nice ending for this crazy, crazy season.
Now let's address this idea that if they won 5 straight and then won 3 SEC tournament games but lost in the championship game, could they get in? You say no, don't have the numbers. To me, it doesn't matter because they're not going to win 8 straight games. I think they'd have a better chance of winning 4 straight in the SEC tournament than winning 8 straight and getting to the championship game and not win. So who cares? I just don't think that's going to happen. They can definitely get into the NIT. They're at 500 now. I think even 1 game below 500 and they're in. So if they go 2-2, which is very doable, even if they lost their first SEC tournament game, which they might win it, then they'd still be 1 below. So I think they're in, unless they just collapse.
Yeah.
You know, if they win these next 2 home games.
And it could still happen. Again, we are putting a lot of eggs into a basket of a team that we saw lose to Mississippi State, but a hard-fought game and a game at Texas A&M. And even Eric Musselman said, this is the best I've seen this team play these last 2 games, 1 a win and 1 a loss. but it's just 2. And I don't want to put the, cart ahead of the horse where it's like, and now they're going on a run. We have no idea. We might come back to earth and get smacked in the face on Sunday or Saturday when they play next against Missouri. Who knows? But it does start that conversation. Speaking of conversation, here's the deal. New college football playoff format is official. 12 teams, a 5-7 format that we will explain to you coming up right after this. Stick around. Welcome back to the show. Let's get into it. The college football playoffs. The Board of Managers met, and here are some new guidelines that they put out on Tuesday. So I want to break these down. They agreed on this on Tuesday, as I mentioned. The 5 highest ranked conference champions will get the first 5 seeds. And then the 7 highest rated teams determined by that playoff committee, which we now know that Hunter Yurachek is a part of, will fill in the rest of that 12-team playoff. Now, 4 of those top seeds will go to conference champions, and then there's that number 5. But that doesn't necessarily mean Power 5. And this is kind of where this conversation gets interesting, because you look at your Mountain West and your Sun Belts and your Atlantics and all of these other things that could happen where they could jump in and be a 4, and then you've got your ACC winner as a 5. This is kind of what it would have looked like if they did this upcoming year. You see Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas and Alabama, and Florida State was down there at 5. And so it could look like this. And so it's so interesting. Courtney and I were bantering back and forth. Like, Courtney's like, there are going to be some mad people. Well, there are, but then you go look at the NFL. It doesn't matter if you win the college championship. Your record doesn't matter. You're a champion of a conference, and you're in. And that's going to kind of rub some people the wrong way.
Listen, I have thought about this so deeply. And the reason is because me and Mike even talked about it before the show. You have this 5-7 format. That would have worked if we still had a Power 5.
We don't.
We don't have a Power 5.
But you have to give that open conference an in. You have to, or you are never going to have a JMU, Liberty, Boise State,
do it
Cincinnati.
Do it 6-6 maybe, like they were trying to do.
But then you give 2
and
no-name, but that's even worse. So that now you're given your 4 big conferences plus your wild card conference, and then everybody else.
Just be good enough to get in.
But you have to understand, Mike, when you look at these ratings, even Liberty, who was 13-1. Was 25th in the college football playoff rankings, but they won a champion. No, but you can't do that to all those other teams. That's what I'm saying.
I would.
Yeah.
Look, you know what this is? This is about getting SEC teams in. That's all I care about.
Oh my goodness. I disagree with Mike. I think you need to put in, I like having an SEC champion, an ACC champion, Big 10, Big 12 champion, but the Pac-12 is now the Pac-2 this year. The Pac-2, I don't know, the Pac-nothing. I don't understand how that's going to work, and I know they're not going to treat them as a Power 5 anymore, but this begs the question, what is that 5th conference? What is that 5th conference going to be? In my mind, I'm going, okay, maybe Mountain West, because they've said the Pac-12 is kind of dissolve maybe into the Mountain West Conference, so maybe a Boise State, a UNLV, But I think there's going to be some people mad if their conference is not chosen for that 5th wild card conference.
And that's where you look, if you're JMU or Liberty or Boise State or UNLV, and you're like, I don't have to be better than the SEC champion. I just have to be better than these conferences. And if I can be better and schedule better than these conferences, then I can have that number 5 spot.
It's going to be interesting to see scheduling as well and how that works out. If this model is what they keep down the road, if scheduling is affected, because like we talked about before the show, is that these conferences are not going to go, well, I don't want to schedule a top SEC team because I just need to win my conference championship, and I have a chance.
That's it.
So I'm not going to schedule tough teams because I'm just going to try and get there.
I'm so intrigued, Mike, because we still don't know yet what they're going to do in 2025 with this pod system or not with football in the SEC, and how are they going to make it so a fair SEC champion wins in Atlanta in a few years?
Conference is going to be so tough.
Yeah.
You got to figure out a way to get 3 into the playoffs.
Well, and I think you do. I really think it's going to work itself out. I really think that outside these top 5, probably 4 of the 7 are going to be SEC teams because it
4 is
is that
fine.
hard.
4 or 5.
But
yeah.
I still.
But you
I would-
have to keep it balanced at the top.
To me, I don't worry about an other Power 5 that's not a Power 5. I don't care what they do. That's not what they are. Power 4
But you're
gets in, champions, and then you start going
So
after
do
that.
you think they don't even deserve to try to win a national title?
No, they deserve it. I'm not saying they wouldn't. One of them wouldn't get in, or 2 of them. They have to be good enough.
But you're going to get at least one. That's what I'm saying. But you have to have some kind of balance to let them in to begin with.
If you win one of these lesser conferences, you just have to be better than a 3rd or 4th place team in one of the other Power 4 conferences. You got to figure out. You got to jump them.
So do you think a undefeated JMU team, had they not lost to App State last season, was better than what would have been the 9 seed in Missouri?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's up to the committee to decide that. Let's put a little bit of pressure on these bozos again. They've been doing this all along anyway.
100 Yurchik is
Okay.
one of those guys. Let's
Okay.
not call them all bozos, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, all right. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm happy that it's open up to 12. I've got my own personal reasons for that as well. Maybe no conference champion who's undefeated gets left out again, but don't get me on the soapbox, guys.
I won't.
Robyn Herron joins us in studio next. Stick around. Welcome back to PTN Extra. Alyssa Orange here with you and excited for a special guest in studio like we do every week. We have Robyn Herron here, the left-handed pitcher, a sophomore for the Arkansas softball team. Thanks for joining us, Robyn.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So you guys have come back on a 2-week road trip of sorts. You head down to your home state of Florida and then you head over to Arizona. What were those 2 weekends like for you guys?
They were busy. It's a lot of traveling, long travel days, but really rewarding to see just everybody come together and, play a different opponent and just be as one team and just see how everyone has worked and what all the work they've put in.
I asked Courtney last week about, at the end of this, you guys have played 8 different opponents, and it just kind of shows you a lot of variety. From a player's perspective, how does that set you guys up for the rest of the season?
I think it's honestly different because we normally play just the same team for a weekend, like 3 times in a row. So it's fun to kind of see what you got because at some point you can't prepare like you would for SEC series. So it's kind of just about like your being a competitor and just your grittiness and your just willingness to do your best and put everything you got out there.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about you. You come from Florida, as we mentioned, as a sophomore. Last year, you really got to watch Shanice and learn from Shanice. What did you learn about your game your freshman year that you've already seen help you this sophomore season?
I probably didn't realize it as much in the moment, but I just realized how composed Shanice was and how honestly just pitching free and being free is the best feeling ever, and not really putting pressure on yourself is just an awesome feeling. So I think that's like the most that I've taken from her. It's just play free and just have fun. It's softball.
Yeah.
It's fun.
How different is this sophomore season? You kind of get that, I say freshman jitters out, right? But your first year of collegiate softball, you kind of figuring out what it's about. And now as a sophomore, you're feeling a little more comfortable in the circle?
Yeah, 100%. Now I'm just ready to go. I just want to be out there. I want to play with my teammates. I want to have fun. It's been really cool these first 2 weeks already.
So what's your style in the circle?
Well, previously I was more of like calm and cool and collected, but this year I've really kind of expanded to just like cheering, just getting, like showing a lot of emotion. I think it's really fun and just being there and like being a light for my teammates when I'm in the circle.
Okay, because I was going to say, Shanice was very calm, not a lot of emotion. A couple years ago, they had Autumn Storms, who was all about her emotion and flair. And so, yeah, I think, each pitcher has their own personality in the circle, and it fits their game.
Yeah.
How do you think you've really added to your game over the last season?
I've definitely added to my game a lot on the mental side. Like that's where I really needed to go to work when the last season finished. So I've been working a lot with Coach Deifel and a few other people on just what I can do mentally to get myself in the game and to be like a true competitor. And I think it's already showed up, and I'm just super happy to finally like show what I've been working on these like past few months.
Yeah, looking at this pitching staff, you guys have a lot of options. And so setting yourself apart, talking to Courtney Deifel about what your role looks like, what does that look like right now?
Right now, we're kind of just feeling things out, like pairing up matchups with which pitchers work better with who, which pitchers would work better for a certain lineup. So we're honestly feeling it out, and so right now I just want to be there whenever my name is called and just give my team my best.
And how fun has it been to work with all of the new faces that you guys have added with the pitching room?
Oh, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all are a very close-knit group, so we all know a lot about each other, about what each other's comfortable with, so I'm just really glad that we're all a team.
You excited about playing in home?
Yes.
Yeah?
I'm excited to see our fans.
I bet. I know the fans are excited. With all due respect, they probably overflow softball right about now. They're ready
probably
to watch you guys in person. And again, it starts with the Razorback Invitational this weekend down at Bogle Park. If you haven't gone to a softball game, do it. They're a blast. They're a lot of fun. And this team is going to be a lot of fun to watch for the regular season. Robyn, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
That's going to do it, for PTN Extra. Join us next week.